Whenever contact is getting created, ID should get generated automatically okay. Which with the following format. What will be the format? Format will be, there should be some prefix. Suppose like prefix should be like, suppose it is com can be the prefix, it, and then after some number, okay, some suffix should be there. Suppose it is year, okay, like this. In this particular format your ID should get generated and it should get set to ID field. Understood? So what is your task? Task is, whenever a contact is getting created, there should be a ID which should get generated, okay. And then, so what will happen right now? Did you understand the task, what it is written? Whenever contact is getting created, in that the ID field value should get automatically populated, okay. What happens? This thing you can do using JavaScript also, right? Because on particularly save of the particular record, you can trigger the script, right? And you can generate the random number also using a script, and you can set the value of ID field. But script will run only on client side. Client side means once a person is interacting only on form, correct? But if a record is getting created by importing the data, or the record is getting created through external system integration, then at that time your client side script will not trigger. Why? Because you are not doing on save, right? You are not saving any form. Automatically data is getting created from some other system to the CRM. So at that time your JavaScript will not work. It will not execute, right? So because of that, we need to write some server side scripting. So whenever there would be a change in database, or whenever record are getting saved into the database, then your particular action will get performed, okay. So for that purpose we are using processes, because that is server side. Are you getting my point? So why we are using server side code, or why we are going for workflow rather than going for the JavaScript is clear. Because JavaScript only executes on client side. Do you know the meaning of client side? What is the meaning of client side? Tell me. So whenever contact is getting created, there should be one ID get generated, okay. That is what I am saying, and it should be a automatic number. So we have seen in a workflow. Let me create one more and I'll show you. So create a process, we will be clicking on process, and then after we'll clicking on new. Here we need to write a process name, okay. So what we are doing, we are on create, right? On create by, because first we will be specifying what operation we are going to do, okay. On create of contact, what we are going to do, we are going to generate the ID, right? ID, correct? Or we can say on create of contact, set automatic generated ID. Okay, this is workflow. So which entity, as we said on create of the contact, right? So which entity we need to select is contact, right? So here we can add a step, and what is the operation we need to do now? On create means already record is created, right? So what we need to do? We need to set the value of ID field, means we need to update it, right? So I am selecting this update. Okay, and here I have not created a ID field, so any field I am setting over here. Suppose in this job title I am setting, you can create or you can rename this job title as what we say ID, and then you can utilize it. Okay, so here in this field, now what I want to do, I want to set the automatic number. Now I cannot generate, right? Here number should be automatic. Here I can write one time, so whatever the value I will be writing, this is static. One time if I create, then also this value would be there. Another record also I create, the value will be same. Whereas ID should be different every time, right? What I am saying, are you getting? ID should be different every time. This middle number should be different. Prefix and suffix should be same. Like I am writing, I am saying that prefix is suppose con, and suffix is 2019. So this prefix and suffix can be changed, but this middle number should be changed, right? Prefix and suffix can be same, but if I save it and if I execute this code, every time this will be same, right? Middle number is not getting changed. Why? Because I am not generating any random number over here. I cannot execute any method, right? But I want you to, it should get executed at the server side, so I need to use C#, right? Only two languages we are having, as it is Microsoft terminology or Microsoft technology. That is, one is JavaScript, so that works on client side, so anyhow we cannot use it. Another remaining is C#, so we need to write a C# code. Okay, so there is a way where means one program can communicate with your existing workflow, that is custom workflow, right? Because here if you see, in the add step, here we can execute or add external libraries. Okay, so what we are going to do exactly, we are going to create one external library and we are going to register here. So what it will be visible here, and we can generate the ID in that library. Okay, we will write one code and we will generate one file, DLL file, you know, right? I have told you in assembly, while you will be creating a project, assembly will get created, right? We have done earlier also, correct? So that file will get created, and with that file I will register here. So what will happen, my ID will be here and I can pick that ID from here and I can use in my workflow. That is the utilization of custom workflow. So as we cannot execute any code in a workflow, any calculations we cannot do in workflow, that is the reason we are going for custom workflow. Okay, understood? That is the basic reason why we use custom workflow if workflow is there, because there are certain limitations of workflow. We cannot calculate anything, right? And whereas we cannot use even calculated and roll of fields right now over here, right? Because those won't work immediately, correct? So that is the reason I need to create a custom workflow. Okay, so how do we create a custom code and how do we register here, that I am going to tell you now. Okay, understood? So for that you need to open your Visual Studio and then after opening here, you can click on new, and then after you can click on project, and here in D365, this is your D365, right? You are having workflow activity library, right? Because we are going to write a custom workflow, right? That is the reason we are selecting workflow activity library, right? Understand? And here you can write what we are going to do. What we are going to do? We are going to generate ID, right? Or generate automatic ID. Understood? Here what we are doing, we are generating ID, or we are generating random number. Okay. So this is not the organization I wanted to connect. Even this connection is not required because we will be registering it using a plugin registration tool. Okay, so this is not required, but still now your username I will be having, right? So by using plugin registration tool we will be doing it. Okay, so this is our file which is already generated, right? Earlier I told you, right, what it is? Code activity, right? This is inheritance. It is inheriting your workflow activity base is a class which is inheriting code activity, which is the class which is already created by Microsoft, right? As we need to communicate to a workflow, right? That is the reason we are using this class, because this class is having all the methods which can communicate to your direct workflow in the CRM. Understood? Right? So now it is showing us the error, the reference is not there, right? So how we can add the reference? Right click over here. References means these libraries to DLL, right? SDK.dll and workflow.dll. These are the two files where this code activity class exists, right? So first we need to give the path where these exist, right? So for giving the path, we will click on add reference, and then after we'll click on browse. So here see I have already selected, so it is available here. What you can do, you can browse, and at that time earlier when I have installed developer toolkit, right, while you install Visual Studio, I told you how do we install developer toolkit in CRM SDK, right? We have installed CRM SDK, and in the desktop, I think in the Dynamics SDK, inside the SDK you will be having a bin folder path. Here you will be having sdk.dll and your workflow.dll. okay, so these two files you require. Okay, you can just select those files, and then you can click on add, and then you can click on okay. sdk.dll and workflow.dll, and then you can click on okay. So now both the files are added over here, right? After adding, you see your error is not there, right? Why error is not there, or why error is gone, is because you have added all these are here, right? And you are using those. So now references are available, so no error. Understood? Clear? If you press F12, then you can see the definition of this code activity, what it is. See, in this code activity, this is protected, right? This is a class, this is an abstract class which is inheriting activity internally, and it is here one particular constructor is there which is protected, and we are having the method called execute method, right? This is the abstract, protected abstract void, right? Here also it is written abstract. Abstract meaning, there will not be anything inside the body, there will not be any body. Right now you created, right? I was telling you what it is. Like this you created. What it is? It is an unimplemented method. Unimplemented means what? It will not be having a body. Body we will be defining in child class. Only they are giving us the name. Understood? What is the meaning of abstract class? Abstract class means it will not be having a body. we are expecting that someone should inherit this class to modify the existing functionality of a CRM or to communicate with this particular functionality of the CRM or to perform the operation on the CRM. Okay, that is the reason they have not defined what this particular method will do. Just they have defined the method name. Inside this method, whatever you will write, this will get executed in the CRM. That is what they are saying. So what we did is we need to use this execute method. What we are doing over here is in our code, we are inheriting this code activity. Earlier I have told you program, class and section. So as we need to use that particular calculate age function, we have inherited program into section, right? Same manner here we are inheriting code activity because we need to use the method called execute method, right? Execute method we need to override. Override means here in child class we will give the definition of it. I will give you and I will tell you what it is written inside. You may not understand because so many lines of code, right? So what I am doing, I am simplifying it. I will delete all those things and we will write again, and I will tell you the purpose of all those things because 4 lines will be common every time whenever you declare a workflow. Okay, after that difference will be coming what operation you are doing. Okay, it is just 1 line of code to generate a random number. Okay, random is a class. By using a random class object we can generate a random number. Okay, but before that, how do we communicate in complete part I need to tell you. So I have deleted this. If it is an abstract class, then it will not be readable. Okay, means you cannot see it while you register a plugin. So I'll recommend you to remove this abstract. Or as you remove this abstract, now it will be asking you to implement an abstract class. Okay, so here it is asked. Implement means what? You need to there they have not defined a body, right? They have declared only the function. What they are saying now, whatever the functions they have declared over there or the protected functions, what they are saying, they are asking you to inherit that and give the definition to it so that function can perform anything, right? So for that, just select it. If you select over here or if you implement this abstract class, then what will happen? Here this particular function came and here it is showing throw not implemented exception. If you run it as it is, then it will throw you an error that this function is not implemented. Implemented means you need to write something over here, right? The purpose, what is the purpose of doing this is we wanted to modify something, right? Or we wanted to communicate to the CRM, or we wanted to perform some operation on the CRM, right? So to perform that operation, where we will be writing the code inside this. Okay, here we will be writing the code. Okay, so what code you will be writing? As internally this code activity context, so this context will get the information about your current activity. Activity means what the task you are performing. That particular activity information would be in this particular code activity context object. Okay, this is a class and this is a object. This is user defined data type, right? Class is a user defined data type. Understood? So here we will be having iWorkflow activity context class interface, that is iWorkflow context. iWorkflow context is a interface. What is interface? You know, interface is similar to like abstract class, but it will have only a unimplemented methods. Okay, implemented methods won't be there. Understood? That is the difference, and you cannot create an object of an interface. So here I am writing W context, and then after here I am writing context dot, here I will be having, I think, get extension. Okay, get extension is a method which will give us the extension, and then here we need to specify the type, what type of extension you want. So I want iWorkflow context, right? So I have written iWorkflow context, but this workflow will not, this particular extension will always not return a workflow context, so we need to convert it. Okay, so for converting we will be writing typecasting, right? So we should write type of Okay. So what this W context is having right now, from this particular context object where activity context were there, from this activities we have taken the information about the workflow, current workflow which is running, because activity will be having all the activities like email, phone number, whatever you are doing task, all the activities information would be there in your code activity context. Okay, from the code activity context, as we want information specifically to a currently running workflow, right? So we have taken the information here in W context, from context.get extension id workflow context. So we have taken the extension of this workflow context, and then after we have stored here. Okay, now this context will help us to communicate. So now we understood currently which workflow is running. Understood? So as we know that right now which workflow is running, we can get the details of that particular workflow, from which mail, who is the user who is executing, which business unit it is getting executed, and all the information we can get here. Okay. And after that, I organization service factory object we need to create. What is I organization service factory? That is an interface which would be useful for to create an organization service. Basically, organization service object is the object by which we can perform an operation on the CRM. Okay. So to create an organization service, we need to create iWorkflow context object, and we need to create this I organization service. If you are able to understand the meaning what I am telling, that is well and good. Otherwise also these 3 lines mandatorily, if you wanted to perform any operation, you need to write. Okay. As of now, you may not require these lines also, because directly in this workflow we are not performing anything, but still I am telling you this. In future we will require those. Okay. I organization service factory, and now suppose I have written SF the object name, and then context dot get extension, and then after here you can pass that particular organization service factory. Okay. And then I organization service object we need to create. Okay, equals to service factory dot create organization service, and here we need to pass the current workflow context user ID, means the user who is executing a workflow, because this is the service object who will perform exactly a operation into your CRM. Okay, so whatever the user ID you will create, that that particular, on behalf of that particular user, operations will get created. Okay, so here we will write W context, because that is the context of your workflow dot. See, these all are the informations which we can get. So we wanted user ID. Okay, so here we can get the user ID of a particular current user who is executing your workflow. Okay, or yes, who is executing your workflow, that particular user ID you can give over here. Okay, and then after understood. Now what we need to do, we need to generate one random number, right? That is our task. So to generate a random number, we will create a class called random. Object of random class, random. Okay, and then after, now you need to retrieve a current record details, right now whatever the record you are, first random number you have generated, right now we will check it, whatever the in W context, right, workflow context, dot primary entity name. Primary entity means on which entity the operation is getting performed, right? Or we can write like primary entity name. Primary entity name means on which entity operation is getting performed, equals to right. So we are verifying that this particular workflow is executing on contact entity only, right? Understood what we are doing here? We are just checking this particular workflow is executing on contact entity or not. Okay, if it is executing on contact entity, or if it is registered on contact entity, then what we are going to do, this workflow will be having a information about, so here what we will do, we will create one entity, okay, equals to new and here we can pass that particular name, okay, or you can write here context dot primary entity name, okay. So that type of entity we have created. What it is there, we have created an entity record. This entity basically a record, okay. So we are creating an empty record, okay, just empty record variable we have created, and here in this ent contact ID is the GUID actually, okay, and we are expecting that in this W context or primary entity ID we will be having the GUID of current entity, okay. So what is the GUID of current entity? What is your GUID? Primary entity ID is the GUID. GUID means unique ID of the record, okay. So we have specified the unique ID of the current record, so that this we are ensuring that on the record, on which record operation is getting performed, which record you created recently, that record only should get updated with the email ID, okay. For that thing what we did, we have ensured that by giving this GUID, okay. If you don't give the GUID, means the system will not know for which record they need to update, okay. Now after, second thing, what you wanted to update, now we wanted to update the job title field to a ID, right? So let me see what is that particular we don't have a contact entity here. Okay, this is contact, right? So I am adding this. Any field we can take where we wanted to update, right? So what I thought, like in the field of so suppose in facts I will update the, because it is also single line of text, right? Data type should not be incorrect, like it should not be like float and I am setting string, then it will give me an error, right? Because of incorrect data type. Here the data type single line of text, so I am using facts. So now I am setting the value of that facts field. Okay, understood? And then after, as I am setting the value of a facts field, what value I wanted to set? I wanted to set the value of random number, right? This value to rand dot next will give me a random number, next random number. Okay, so every time it will be a new number, but it will be a number, whereas the text type is string, right? So I should convert it into a string, so I am writing to a string, right? And now I am setting value to this field, but we require prefix and suffix also, right? So now I am giving a static values for this, suppose com the string I should give com hyphen, okay, and here also I want 20. This is just for your learning sake, I am telling you like this. We can make it more better, this process, okay, but as you should learn, I am telling you in this manner. Second time we will see that rather than making it hard coded here, if we wanted user configurable, like user can give the input what he want in a prefix and what he want in a suffix, and random number should get automatically populated. Means we want that this particular what we say workflow should communicate with your code. Okay, so how you can pass values from workflow to a custom workflow, from a custom workflow to a workflow. Right now we are not passing any value, right? Through a code only we are getting, right? There is a way from where we can pass the values. I will tell you that after you will understand this thing. And then after, what we will do, we will write service dot update, right? This service is the object of this class which we have defined over here, right? This is a service object, okay? And this is update method which is defined in this particular organization service interface, right? So what this service dot update method is doing is, it is updating my record into the CRM. What it requires the entity. Which entity? ENT, right? Current entity. And I have already specified the GUID, which record it needs to be updated, and what record entity I created. Both the things I have conveyed, right? Entity type I have defined contact. So in the contact entity, which record should be updated? This record where the primary entity ID is this, right? So your particular code should have complete links where it is which entity it is going, which record it is updating, right? We have specified both those things, then it should execute fine. Where I have written service.update means it will update now my current record. Understood? So it will update, and automatically what is happening, once a record is getting created, at that time this will do. Right now just we have written the code, we are not calling this code anywhere, right? So how do we call it? That I am going to tell you now. Okay, see, it's simple code only, whereas these 3 lines are common every time. Okay, difference is coming here only. What is the functionality you are doing? Right now I am just generating random number. Maybe next time you need to find out the age from the date of birth field, right? So right now I have done update operation. You can do retrieve operation also. You can retrieve the current age. After retrieving the current age of the particular, because you are having GUID, right? As you have GUID, so that you can retrieve also. Retrieve single operation also you can perform. Like this, you can retrieve the date of birth, and then after retrieving the date of birth, you can find out what is the age, right? From the date of birth you can get the age, and then you can perform your operation whatever you want. Understand? So that is how you would be performing the operation. For the calculation purpose only, for small tasks only, we are writing this particular code. Generally for small thing only, not for the big thing. Sometimes we'll be doing big thing also, but we'll start with smaller things. Okay? So after that, what you need to do, you need to save it, and then after saving it, you can right click over here, and you will be having the options of properties over here, right? So in the properties here, you can select on sign, and then after you can click on signing the assembly. Okay, after that here you can select on new one, and here you can give any random thing. Okay, and don't give the password, it is not required, because, and click on OK. Okay, and then after, so you see that what is your assembly name. If you see here, you can see your assembly name is generate random number, because this is the assembly which will be visible over there. Where it will be visible? It will be visible in your workflow after we register it. Okay, right click over there and build this. Okay, understood? After you build is succeeded, means there is no error. Now what you need to do, you need to open your plugin registration tool. From where you can open your plugin registration tool, that also I will tell you. You can go to your CRM SDK, where it is Dynamics SDK, right? You can open this SDK, click over here, and then here in the tools you will be having plugin registration, and here you have this plugin registration tool. Okay, you need to create a new connection. So here you need to provide the organization details of your current. So here you can write and you can log in. So it is not getting login. Latest SDK. Okay, so version 9.0. You can right click over here and you can open it. PowerShell. Okay, from PowerShell we can do. So what you need to do, you need to copy the complete script. Okay, now after copying this script, you can go to a CMD, not CMD exactly, you can write run over here. Okay, run here. Okay, you can open your Windows PowerShell, and here you can paste that particular code. What it is, this is the same code which I have downloaded here, right? This is the code I have copied here, and I have just opened the PowerShell and I have pasted over here. Okay, so what this code is doing for me, it is installing the plugin registration tool. It is downloading for me. Okay, so this is getting like this, it will get installed for you also. Okay, So slowly like this it will get downloaded. Okay, it will get downloaded and installed for you. Okay, so this is the way how you can install it. After installing, you can just go here into your C drive, into the C drive under the users. This will be your main user. Here you will be having the tools folder created. In this tool folder you will be having plugin registration, and here you will be having plugin registration tool. Okay, here if you click on new connection, and here if you provide your details, you will be able to log in. Okay, I told you how you can install a latest version of plugin registration tool using PowerShell. Okay, so okay, and here you can select login. So now you see it is connected. Earlier it was not getting connected. Okay, so if the same kind of problem you are having, your plugin registration tool is not getting connected to your organization, then what you need to do, you need to change that particular version. Okay, by using PowerShell. How you can do that also I have told you. So now here you should be able to see your particular workflow. Okay, so right now these all are the assemblies which are already registered in your CRM. Okay, we are going to register new one. So what we will do, we will click on register new assembly. Okay, here you need to select your assembly. So you can select it. It will be in your project folder. In your project, what we have given, generate random number, right? Generate random number, bin, debug, and here you have the DLL, right? This is only the DLL assembly name you have seen, right? And then you can click on open, and then just you can click on register. So it is registered successfully. Okay, now as it is registered successfully, what you need to do, now we will open our workflow. Here in this step also not required, because already we updated, right? Now update is not required. In that code we are updating, right? So what we need to do over here is, let me close it and let me reopen it, because right now only we have registered, right? So we need to refresh the system. So now here in the processes, this is the, not this one, automatic ID right there. What do you want? This workflow. Now if you click on add step, go down, you should be able to see this generate random number. Can you see this? Generate random number. This is the assembly which we created and we have registered, and it is visible here, right? Because indirectly, what in the, why we are calling it as custom workflow, because this workflow can run only on inside a workflow. This custom code you can execute inside a workflow, right? So we have created a workflow, and now we are selecting our custom code which we want to get executed, right? Now we have selected it, right? And now you can save it, and then after you can activate it, right? Okay, now we are trying it. As we have activated, now we will try creating, we'll try to test it. How we will be testing it? For that we will be creating a contact record, right? Once we create a contact record, we can see that whether this particular workflow is getting triggered or not, right? So for that we will provide that first name, okay. So, and we are saving it. According to our code, what is happening, once you save it, here in the facts, that particular ID should be saved, right? As it is asynchronous workflow, right? Background workflow, it may take some time. So I am refreshing it. If it is a real-time workflow, then immediately the value will get updated, right? So here you see this number is this number, right? 255. Now next time, if new record if you are creating, okay, and if you save it, we need to wait for some time. Why we are waiting? Because it is asynchronous. Synchronous means immediately it will be reflecting. So see, this is different number, right? That is, we are saying dynamic. Static means it will not change. Dynamic means it will change, right? Because of the dynamic feature, we have created a code, right? Otherwise, we can do in workflow itself. Understood? So that is how we create a custom workflow, okay? But now this is what this com or 2017 is a static value. Why I am saying static means this com and this 2017 I want that user can configure by his own. Understood? It is not, because now we have written this in code. So as we have written in this code means what? What will happen now? Every time this particular compiler, every time we cannot change it, right? Only developer need to go to the code and he need to modify the code and he need to register the assembly again, and this will be a big process, right? So rather than that, what we can do, we can create it like this. We are having options of parameters. This is your workflow, right? Here we can create a parameter so that your workflow can communicate to your library. This custom workflow, this we have added here, right? This custom workflow can communicate to your current workflow. How they can communicate? By input and output parameters, okay? So how do we create input and output parameter? That matters. It will be same only, which is here. Here we need not to do anything. So how do we create parameters? That is important. So how we can create a parameter is, we can go to a code. This is your code, right? You can go to a code and here it should be outside your execute method, okay, not inside, because execute means we will be executing. Here we are specifying the parameters, okay. Parameters will be helpful for us to get the data from input parameters and output parameters. Two types of parameters we are having in custom workflow. Input parameter will be helpful for us to take the input from workflow to a custom workflow. Understood? Two ways are there: getting the value from a workflow to a custom code, or then after generating or after performing the action, you can update that same value to your workflow. That is output parameter, okay? Taking the input to a custom workflow and then passing the output from your custom code to your workflow. Understood? From the workflow to custom workflow, from custom workflow to workflow. Okay, workflow to custom workflow is input parameter, because your custom workflow will take input. Here also prefix and suffix we will take as an input. Okay, and this update operation we have done here, we can do that using we can do it in workflow itself. Okay, by passing the output parameters. Okay, so today we will see right now is input parameters. How do we declare input parameters, right? So for that, how do we declare it? Here in the bracket, here we will write input and then in. What we have written is an input argument which will be visible in your workflow. From there you can set the value of this workflow. Okay, so how you can do that? Here now we need to get this value, right? So you can write here instead of this, here you can retrieve this prefix. What you can write here, you can create one string called pre, okay, and here you can get the value. How you can get the value? prefix. See, this is like a property. Okay, prefix dot, here you will be having the option of get value. Okay, see here you can get the value get, and here you need to specify the type. Okay, so what is the type? String, right? So from here and here you need to specify the current activity context. So what is your activity context? This is context, right? So here you need to pass context. Okay, so what is happening in this pre? We are storing the value of the prefix which user is passing. Okay, and this pre we can set here. So you can write now pre, right? In the same manner, suffix also we want, right? So you can create one more input parameter which is suffix, right? So for that, again here I can write, these things will be common only, so I can simply copy and paste here, and prefix instead of prefix, suffix, right? And this default value I am giving 2019. User can configure and then it will be overridden. Okay, then it should also be public out argument, and then after this is string, this is also a string, then it is suffix, and then after get and set. Okay, and then after here we have declared suffix also. Okay, prefix, this is the configuration for prefix, this is the configuration for suffix, right? So now we can store the value of suffix also. String, okay, equals to, see, suffix, now we have suffix dot get and here we'll write string, and then activity, current of activity context we need to pass, so that is the context. Okay, and then these are the ways. Actually, one time if you know how to pass the values, this way will be same. Here only what will be changed, this name will be changed. Instead of prefix suffix you will be giving different name, data type will get changed, input argument, output argument, it will be like this, it will be, this is output argument, right? Output not, this is also input argument we need to create, right? Output means we are passing the value to a workflow, we are just getting the value from workflow now. Okay, and here only we are performing the operation. Okay, now you can save it, right? After saving, what you can do, right, there is no error, right? Here in this, instead of 2017, what you should do, you need to append your suffix value, right, which you are storing into that particular variable. So here it is suffix, right? Now all set. Now you can save it, and then after right click over here and build it. After building it, open your plugin registration tool, which is already open, right? This is your assembly, right? Right click over here and click on update, because we have changed it, right? We need to update it. Select it and you will be having your latest assembly, right? Time also you can see 12:35 means recently it is updated, right? Click on open. Once you click on open, right click on those and click on updated, update selected plugin. Okay, so as you select on update, it is updated, right? So your assembly is updated. Now what you can do, again you can come over here, this is your code, right? You can open it, and now here you can select on set properties. So here you see your prefix and suffix came. Earlier those were not here. Now we created, right? So this created. Like this you can create here n number of variables or n number of parameters, right? IMC, this is the default value we have given. You see in your code. This is the default value. Here this is the default value, right? As those are required arguments, we have given the default values over there. Understood? If you now user can configure, he need not to go and modify the code every time. He can just modify here and that will be visible in your particular code, right? So suppose now for this particular publisher, I want it should be PMC, right? So I have written PMC. It should be 20 instead of 2019. I just wanted to keep it as 001, or I wanted to keep it like 2017. Okay, and I'm saving and closing it. Okay. So basically this thing where we are doing in workflow, right? From the workflow it will get passed to your custom workflow, and then the code which the random ID which will get generated, which would be the ID what you are writing. Suppose I want PMS, or here I want it should be 2017. Okay, and now I'm saving it and I'm closing it. Okay, now again I'm saving it, and then after I'm activating it. Okay. Or what I can do now is it is background, right? Now I'm making it as a real-time workflow. Okay, real time means immediately we can see. Background already you have seen, we are refreshing and then we were checking the value. Right now you see immediately it will get created. So one more time we will test it. For testing it, what we need to do, we'll go to the record and we'll create a new record, because on create of the account we kept, right? So again now we are creating it, and here we are writing suppose okay, and then we are saving it. So now I have not refreshed it and it should get updated. What happened now? See, it came. Maybe it is not converted, or after activating we have not saved it, right? We need to save it. Understood? This is PMS 2017, what we have given as an input, right? So anytime we can change it. We need not to every time go and modify the code, correct? So that is how we can pass the values from a workflow to your custom workflow. Understood? If you set the output parameters, then we can do the same. We can generate the value and we can perform the operation over there. Understood? So is it clear? So this is about a workflow and a custom workflow. Very simple thing. These all are the things, how to pass input parameter, how to pass output parameters. If you know, just variations you would be facing. So one time if you know, it is all time that is only you are going to work. So these are the few functionalities you will be working. You are not going to generate some explicitly extraordinary thing. But here suppose I am generating random number, right? So instead of random number you may need to generate a sequence number, like first record for 1, second record 2, third 4, right? Like this it should be, or it should not get duplicated also. Okay, so like this